people, he begins with this sentence, Ah min qillati zatin wa bu'da safar. Whatever I earn for the duration and journey and destination which is ahead of me is so little compared to what it should be. Here Imam Ali is not exaggerating something. Neither he is not saying something out of formalities. Whatever he says, it's absolute truth and out of his sincerity and hidden knowledge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when we see the action of beloved Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen and the reward he's receiving from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and what we see, our action and our reward is not even comparable or imaginable. Because Imam Ali Islam, by sleeping in one night, he was able to receive ultimate pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as Quran called it. وَمِن النَّاسِ مَن يَشْرِي نَفْسَهُ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ. Those who are able to trade with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by sleeping one night, the complete desire of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you take that as a consideration, if the sleeping of Imam Ali is equal to the desire of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what about his other actions, whether his prayers, fastings, his helping to the poor and needy people, his support for Islam, his battle against the enemies, and so on and so forth. If you get the complete idea of the actions of Imam Ali alayhi salam, is more than what we can just comprehend or think of. And yet Imam Ali, he has to say that, Ah min qillati zadin ba'da safar, alaykum assalam. Whatever I earn is so little compared to what I needed for the destination and for the journey which is ahead of me, is you cannot compare. So now the question is, why Imam Ali Islam has to say that? The problem with us is when we see the life, we have a different perception and vision than what Imam Ali Islam he can see. For us, life is just from birth to death. That's the duration of life. And after birth, from birth to death, there is a very insignificant knowledge we have, or we don't know, just a blurry picture that maybe there is a form of life after death. We don't know what types of life we're going to have after death, right? But Imam Ali Islam can see exactly from beginning to the end. So if we want to understand, our life is divided in 5 different chapters. The first chapter of a life we spend is in Alam al-Dhar. Alam al-Dhar was exist before the creation of this whole universe, or whole creation, what we can see, right? That's Alam al-Dhar. Basically, all of us, we used to exist with the will and command of Allah, kun fayakun, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested from all of us, and based on our test, we place in different groups and timings and different families. That's the first life, which is way before the creation of Hazrat Adam, because the creation of Hazrat Adam alayhi salam also was the result of the Alam al-Dhar, right? Because he was nominated and selected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala based on his performance in alam dhar. That's why some people they argue that why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala nominated Hazrat Adam or Nuh or Ibrahim as a prophet, not me and you. Because the position of prophethood is not something we can acquire or we can achieve by our effort. No, that's not the case. That is a setup, that's a decree from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's their destination, that's something Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided before the creation of this whole world. Why I should born in the Muslim family, Shia family, Sayyid family, it's not that I choose that. It was decided based on my performance in the judgment day or in the alam dhar, right? It's not that someone who's born and raised in Muslim family or Shia family or Sayyid family is a superior person. No, that's not the case, because we have examples. Some of them they born in the family of great people like Hazrat Nuh or our 10th Imam, but they turn out to be a bad people, like Ja'far Kadhab, the son of our 10th Imam, the brother of our 11th Imam. He was going against the principle of Islam, so he was away from the Deen and Shariat. Or the son of Nuh, he was nominated to be son of a great prophet, Al-Azm, but later on he decided to be a bad person. Or some people, those who convert, they had a poor test in Alam Dhar, but later on they become good people, right? And they take a great step towards Islam, to the point that Salman al-Farsi, he was in the family which is not Muslim family, but he chose to be a good person. Later on, he reached the highest point as Salman min Ahlul Bayt. He was among the Ahlul Bayt, not quote unquote as one of the Hadith Kisa or Ahlul Bayt, but his status was so high where Holy Prophet granted him that status, right? So one duration or one page of a life is in Alam Dhar. Kun fayakun, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us, we live there, and for what other duration we don't know. Ahadith and riwayat are not clear, but what is clear is we had a test, and based on the test, the result of the test of Alam Dhar is this Alam Nasuls. That's one duration. So our beginning is not from the birth, way before. The second duration of a life is from in the womb of mother for 9 plus minus months, right? That's also we don't know, we don't recognize. Just the process of our progress in the womb of mother. Third duration of life is when we come out from the womb of mother in this world till our death. Could be for some people a second, could be a minute, could be an hour, could be a day, could be a week, could be a month, could be a year, could be a decade, could be a century, could be more, could be less. Some people they live for as long as 3,000 years, like Hazrat Nuh or Hazrat some of the prophets. But some people they live for 1 second, right? Plus and minus. But ultimately, all of us we have to die. No one will going to stay here forever. Fourth, from death till the resurrection day, وَمِنْ وَرَائِهِمْ بَرْزَخٌ إِلَى يَوْمِ يُبْعَثُونَ. From the time we die till the resurrection day, judgment day, our life will continue. Although we don't see, we don't precise, we don't understand, but our life is continuing even after death. And the fifth period of the life is on the judgment day. So one day, but that one day is not kind of 24 hours, each hour 60 minutes and each minute 60 seconds. No, that's not the case. Quran refers that يوما كان مقداره 50,000 سنة. That day could be equivalent to 50,000 years of this life. Subhanallah. Right? So that's one day. 50,000 years. Right? And then after the resurrection day, the last stage of life is hum fiha khalidun, the eternal life. So basically, our journey of life has begun from Alam al-Dhar millions of years back, even before the creation of Hazrat Adam. Second is in the womb of mother. Third, here in this dunya which we are living. Fourth, after our death. Fifth, on Judgment Day. And sixth, after Judgment Day. So what's the key point here Imam Ali has to refer? On the Jum'ah, the day of Jum'ah. Ayyuhan nas, O people, min qillati zadin. He is referring to the very important point. What is that point? That you need to see the duration of life different than what you think of. The duration of life is not what you think. It's not 10, 20 years. Min qillati zadin. What Imam Ali is looking and seeing is the eternal life after death. When we say eternal, infinite, there is no number for that. Right? There is no number for that. Even if you say billion years, is what we think of. But billion is not infinite number. If you say trillion, it's not infinite. Trillion is part of that infinite number. Right? So what duration we're going to live after death? We don't know. Infinite life. So if infinite life we're going to live after death, which has no limit. So the life after death is the consequences and the result of the life of this dunya. Subhanallah. This dunya, although we think that is a small period of time, but whatever we cultivate, plant these seeds, whatever we do here, we're going to receive the result and the fruit of our life here after death. That's why Imam Ali says, min qillati zadin wa bu'd as-safar. What I earn for the life after death compared to what I needed is so little. Except if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to bless us. So that is the key point, brothers and sisters, in order to summarize وَمَا خَيْرُ خَيْرٍ لَا يُنَالُ إِلَّا بِشَرٍ وَيُسْرٍ لَا يُنَالُ إِلَّا بِعُسْرٍ لَا طَاعَةَ فِي مَعْصِيَةِ اللَّهِ. Imam said, min qillati zadin, what we earn is so little compared to what we need after death. But know that وَمَا خَيْرُ خَيْرٍ, if you want to seek khair, it's not what we think, that if you prayers, fasting, this and that, that's what we think of, right? But وَمَا خَيْرُ خَيْرٍ, khair is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can accept from us. SubhanAllah, this is an amazing point. What's khair? Khair, what is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept it? It means we need to have good intentions, right? When Hazrat Hajar, she was going between battle of the mountains of Safa and Marwa to seek a glass of water, a cup of water for her baby, Ismail, where he was battling for the life, to have a glass of water. She was running between these two mountains, Safa and Marwa. Who thought that her action would be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to the point that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, Inna Safa wal Marwa min sha'Allah. Indeed, the Safa and Marwa, and going between Safa and Marwa, is one of the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sha'air Allah. When Hajj al-Bayt, those who go to Hajj or Umrah, it's wajib upon them to copy the action of a lady, black lady, Hazrat Hajar. She had no status in her time among the people. Even people, they did not gave the status of the wife of Prophet. That's why he has to go from Babel to Mecca, in a place where there is no life there, and he has to leave his wife and child, 6 month baby, in that land, and he has to go with the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and she's left alone there with the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. She's seeking for the water, and eventually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala arranged for that. And today, till today, or till judgment day, whoever wants to go to Umrah or Hajj, they have to go between Safa and Marwa, copying the action of Hajj. Why? Because that is something Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted. What about today? We don't know. One of our action, one of the amal could be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and can grant us all the ni'mat and rahmat. Can you imagine that Hazrat Ali Asghar's situation when Imam Hussain was asking for a cup of water for baby Ali al-Asghar is going to go without rewarding by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why in whole globe, entire world, every time we remember about Ali al-Asghar, the water, is remembrance of the same thing, Sha'air Allah. So Imam Ali says that yes, what we earn is so little compared to what we needed, but the key point is don't come up with your own equation. It's not about the quantity. It's about what? Whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted. Therefore, Imam says that have a sincere intention only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever you do it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not for your family, not for yourself, not for others, not for here or there. That's the meaning of Inna salati wa nusuki wa mahyaya wa mamati lillahi rabbil alamin. Anything you take, any step you take, any action you do, any word you say, remember that I'm doing for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you do that, you're having all the ni'mat and rahmat, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wal asr inna al-insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilu as-salihat wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
لا إله إلا الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. نحمده ونستعينه ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وعن سيئات أعمالنا ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأن محمدا عبده ورسوله ثم الصلاة والسلام والإكرام على جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين والشهداء والصالحين والصديقين وعلى خير خلقه البشير النذير السراج المنير بالقاسم محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد
وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين صلوات الله وسلامه ومغفرته ورضوانه وبركاته كما صليت وباركت ورحمت وحننت على إبراهيم وآل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. وصل على أئمة الهدى من الأولين والآخرين وعلى أمير المؤمنين يعصوب الدين قائد الغر المحجلين علي بن أبي طالب وعلى الصديقة الطاهرة فاطمة الزهراء بضعة الرسول وعلى سيدي شباب أهل الجنة إمامان الحسن والحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين زين العابدين محمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد بن موسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى محمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والحجة القائم المنتظر المهدي. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف وصلى الله مخرجه وجعلنا من أعوانه وانصاره ولعن دائما على أعدائهم أجمعين. أما بعد أوصيكم عباد الله ونفسي بتقوى الله ونظم أمركم يا عباد الله اتقوا الله اتقوا الله اتقوا الله وابتغوا إليه الوسيلة كما قال الله سبحانه تبارك وتعالى في كتابه الكريم إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اللهم إنا نرغب إليك في دولة كريمة تعز بها الإسلام وأهله وتذل بها النفاق وأهله وتجعلنا فيها من الدعاة إلى طاعتك والقادة إلى سبيلك وترزقنا بها كرامة الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم إنا نشكو إليك فقد نبينا وغيبة ولينا وشدة الفتن بنا وتظاهر الزمان علينا. صدق الله وصدق رسوله وصدق ولي الكريم. صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Alhamdulillah, brothers and sisters. Today is the 25th day of the month of Muharram 1440 after Hijrah. We gather here once again in this very day of Jum'ah to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to offer our collective ibadah and service to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us and remove us from darkness and error, and bless us the knowledge and ma'rifat, so we can be true followers and believers of beloved Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, inshaAllah. The key for all the ni'mat and rahmat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taqwa. Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. The most beloved of us in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who has a taqwa, who practice God consciousness in his actions. When we talk about taqwa, is so vague word, often we don't understand, loosely translated in English as a God consciousness. When we say God consciousness, what does it mean? It means I should have a good control over my desires, where I should not engage in any haram. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is basically guiding me. That's a God consciousness. If you want to take a simple example, that who is a good driver? The one who drives the car with good complete control. Is not the one who just go fast and engage in accidents. The one who has a good control of his driving. Therefore, if I have a good control of my own desire, I don't engage in haram, that's the taqwa. That's the piety. That's the God consciousness. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, that the one who has this capability of controlling his desires, he is a muttaqi. And that's the key for all the bounties and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you want to enter in the bounties and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you need to have a key. The key is taqwa. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us taqwa, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us strength so we can practice taqwa in our personal life, in our family life, in our social life, in our centers, in our all the other areas of life, so we can see a better result. Often we don't see a good result is because we're not practicing taqwa either in our personal lives or family lives. If you don't see a taqwa in our family lives, the families will collapse. If you don't see the taqwa in our centers, centers will collapse. If you don't see the taqwa in our different aspects of our life, you'll see that that aspect is collapsing. That was very important for us to maintain taqwa in all our aspects of our life, inshallah. And also I'd like to extend my deepest condolence to you all and Imam of our time for the shahadat of our fourth Imam, Imam Zain al-Abidin Ruhi wa Arwah al-Alim al-Maqdum al-Fida. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us and give us strength to be his true followers and true believers, and those who establish the very concept of the message of Imam Hussein in this part of the world, and those who consider Imam as his ambassadors and followers, inshallah. Brothers and sisters, since we are in the great month of Muharram and Safar is a great platform for all of us. We should not just limit to azadari or to majalis. Majalis and azadari is one of the tools to reach to a very message of Imam al Hussein. We need to go beyond that. That's why I urge all of you to open up some of the books. We need to educate ourselves as ambassador of Islam, Quran, Ahlul Bayt, message of Karbala and Imam al-Hussein. The more we know about Islam, the more we know about Imam al-Hussein, the more we know about the message of Imam al-Hussein, the better we can serve ourselves, our families, and others. But if we limit to the rituals of the Ashura, we cannot achieve a good result, especially in this part of the world. While we should protect and preserve the rituals of Azadari, meanwhile we should not limit our effort to only protecting the rituals of Azadari. That should be one of the key points. That's a blood for us. Without the rituals, without the majalis, without this beautiful concept, we cannot achieve, like our great scholars, they mentioned that Muharram and Safar, majalis is a great platform, the oxygen and blood for our life of being a good mu'min. But that should not be limited to that area. It's very important that we need to think more, we need to establish a good concept of Azadari for the generations to come. That's one of the key points. Second, Alhamdulillah, in the month of Muharram and Safar, because our batteries are charged up, usually what happens is once we come from majalis, once we listen to the speakers, once we go to different websites, when we have some books, when we read all of that, as usually the result is we charge up. Make sure that our battery should not lose fast. We need to keep that all the way till next Muharram, because the journey which we're going to have ahead of us is not only for a few days, that should last for next Muharram. So the majalis, the result of majalis should give me a good protection and awareness not to engage in any haram. I should have the life of Ahlul Bayt. That's the key message, and that should be the good result of Muharram and Safar, inshallah. And also, Safar is ahead of us. Lots of people, they want to go to Azadari, they want to go to the Imam Hussain al-Islam's ziyarat and so on and so forth. All of that is a great platform, and we need to transfer for our future generations. Our children, they should know, they should get the true message that why we walk. Because millions of people, they're going to walk from Najaf to Karbala or different places. Or, children, they should get the good idea that why we are doing that. Meanwhile, we need to have a good platform here for the children to, educate them, to understand them. Because nowadays, the enemies, they are not sitting doing nothing. No, they want to attack from all the angles, and they're ready to attack us with every deceptions, and their deceptions often are strong. That's why even when I was looking and watching social media, our youth, they're kind of shaky because they don't get the true knowledge, and with the deception of enemies, maybe they can be deviated. The enemies are not coming with different tools, they are coming with the very tools of Islam. Why? Because they know, like shaitan sifat. What they do is, well, you don't commemorate for Fatima Zahra, the mother of Imams, that much. Why you commemorate for Imam al-Hussein? Don't you think that Ashura is a victory? If it's a victory, you need to be happy, not sad. Don't see that we have ahadith and riwayah that on the day of Ashura you need to fast. So that is a good, gesture. Or why we don't cry for Holy Prophet that much? Only Hussein. So these types of ill questions they bring to deviate from the right path. What they don't understand is inna liqatl al-Husayni hararatun. And it is not from me, from you, from the speakers, from the scholars, from the Shia. No. There's a will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Indeed, for the name of Imam Hussain, there's a strength in the hearts of the mu'mineen and believers. No one can stop that. As Zainab al-Kubra in the court of Yazid, she was challenging Yazid. Ya Yazid, kid kaidak was'a sa'yak. Do whatever you want to stop our dhikr. But know that you can kill us, you can humiliate us, you can imprison us, you can do whatever. But one thing you cannot take away from the hearts of the people is the dhikrana wa hubbana, or love and or dhikr, you cannot remove from the hearts of the mu'mineen. Why? Because that's the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not your will. So the enemy is what they don't see in their calculation is the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This majalis is a result of the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna la nudhi'u ajra al-muhsinin. Indeed, we're not going to destroy the good doers of the, what are the good doers they did, their effort. Imam Hussain, he sacrificed everything. He deserves to have this majalis. It's not because of me, I want, or you want. No, that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants. So that's the second point. The third point, brothers and sisters, very important, that the message of Imam Hussain is not only for mu'mineen, not only for the Muslims, for entire globe, for every creature, especially every mazloom. So the message of Imam Hussain should reach out to everyone, that yes, there is a power, evil power, and there is a haqq power, the truth power. So every truth power, although they are a number few, but they have a strength and they have a power to take over and defeat the batil and evil. The false, the batil, the evil can be defeated very easy. But the point is, we need to pay the price. That's why the people of Yemen, people of Syria, in Iraq, like Ayatollah Sistani, stated that if you want to defeat the batil, you need to pay the price. But batil is so weak, can be defeated very easily. We need to pay the price. So nowadays, batil, falsehood, they're claiming double standard. Subhanallah. When it comes to Palestine, Yemen, there is no human rights at all. But if some procession happens, like a couple of hundred people in Iran or some other places, wow, human rights. MashaAllah, you care about human rights? What about Syria? What about Yemen? What about Palestine? You don't care about that? No, that's not their interest. So double standard is there. Just last week you saw that. It was a circus in United Nations. United Nations supposed to be a platform for human rights. But the least thing they talk about is human rights. If it's a human rights, they should have the resolution against the atrocities in Yemen, the poorest country. Each and every day, 3,000 people affected. Each and every day, 60 children, they give their life in Yemen. Who's talking about that? Nothing. The siege. The poorest country. The poorest country. The richest country in the region is attacking with the support of all the super poor countries. No one is talking. That's what Imam Hussain is looking for. That's what Imam Zama. No. The batil is batil. The haqq is haqq. Imam Hussein's message is not historical event. Today's Yazid, you need to find out. And today's Hussein, we need to find out. And Husseiniyyat should be continuing. And Yazidiyat should be brought to the court. And inshallah, alaysa subha biqareeb. We know that the ultimate peace and justice will happen with the zuhur of Imam of our time, and he will going to establish, inshallah, ultimate truth and peace and justice. We need to pay our duties and we need to take care of our duties and responsibilities in order to have a good atmosphere of Imam of our time, inshallah. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر لكم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد اللهم إنا نسألك ندعوك باسمك العظيم الأعظم الأعز الأجل الأكرم يا الله يا الله يا الله يا الله يا الله يا الله اللهم زل علينا بركات رحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك اللهم تقبل من اسم العليم اللهم عجل في فرج مولانا صاحب الزمان وجعلنا من أعوانه وانصاره إلى أرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات بالأخص مرحومين حاضرين يوم مرحومين من رحمات الفاتحة مع الإخلاص والصلوات اللهم صل على Asr prayer is my Asr prayer is Qasr. After 2 rakat you can continue inshallah. For Juma prayer we will do after 2 rakat Juma prayer, but after the Asr prayer I'm going to do my Qasr and your prayer will be full inshallah. But Muhammad wa ali Muhammad sallallahu Allahu Akbar Allahu Akbar Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah Ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين عليا ولي الله أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين عليا حجة الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله يا محسن قد ذاك